Hey guys, Gaming Tech TV here with an unboxing for the new Dell XPS 9350 13-inch Ultrabook. Just got delivered. So we're going to go ahead and open it up and do a little review on this. Okay. So pretty slick looking box. You can already tell that it's pretty light in weight, but all in all, nice presentation here. Soft padded cardboard case, and this thing is pretty small, which is good. Quick start guide underneath, as well as your warranty information. Separate box included for your charger, and it looks like that's going to be the only other thing included with the charger, or with the laptop, is just the charger. So there's your three items. We'll go ahead and do a quick review on the new features of the new Gen 6 Skylake processor, Dell XPS 13. More to come. Hey guys, Gaming Tech TV here. Finish up the review on the Dell XPS 13-inch laptop. So we did an unboxing, and I decided to use it for a little while and see how I really feel about it. My daily activities with work, traveling, using it at night in the dark. So I feel like I can give you guys a pretty solid review here. First, obviously, the size, build quality, very nice. You get a lot of screen real estate here with the 13-inch screen, but in a much smaller form factor, so similar to more like an 11 or 12-inch form factor. This is the Gen 6 Skylake processors. This one has the i5 inside of it, as well as a 128 gig solid state drive and 8 gigs of RAM. The RAM is not upgradable, it's soldered to the motherboard. Not a huge deal because I don't anticipate ever needing more than 8 gigs when I'm using this. This is not my primary. I have a desktop for most of my activities. But on the go, travel, on the couch, 8 gigs should be more than enough for me. They do make them in a number of variations, so you can get all the way up to 16 gigs, I believe, with 1 terabyte solid state drives now. But for my purposes, this is more than enough. So with that being said, I've used this now for a few weeks, and used it traveling was my main concern. Very light, barely notice it in your backpack. The charger is also a small form factor, which was nice, but really happy with it. With that being said, so a couple things that we'll start with the things that I wish were a little bit different, or that they would change or modify. The video out on the XPS 13. There is no HDMI out. There's no mini HDMI out. There's no display port out or mini display port out. The only thing they give you is the USB-C Thunderbolt, which very forward-thinking, advanced technology. This one right here. So it's a little bit future-proof, but that is basically the only video out. So if you want to do HDMI, if you want to do VGA, if you want to do DVI, you're going to need an adapter for that. USB-C to HDMI. Kind of a problem right now. Not readily available. Not a very common adapter, and they're kind of expensive. The ones that are out there, about $50. So you will run into that. But that's my biggest gripe. When I was on vacation and I had this, no real way to do video out. So that's a problem. Now, with that being said, I also think that there should be 2 USB-C ports on this, mainly because if you're doing video out and you have any other adapter, you know, Ethernet adapter, USB-C adapter, you're not going to be able to do that through this port when you've got video out going. Video out pretty much takes this port out of the picture once you're using video out. So a second one would alleviate that problem, which would be nice. But also you can do charging through this USB-C port, which again, future thinking, forward technology. It's nice to have that feature built in instead of using this charging port here, this charging port right here. The problem with that is if I'm charging through USB-C, then I've got zero options as far as video out goes, which is kind of a problem. Again, if they had two, it would alleviate that problem. But this is kind of, you know, thinking for the future, because USB-C is not yet a predominant video out or even port on most devices. So with that being said, we'll go through some of the ports here. We've got your charging port for the Dell charger that is included with the device. You've got your USB-C Thunderbolt. That's going to do video out. It's going to do 40 gigabyte per second data transfers. It's going to do charging. So it's pretty much the one and all port that you'll need moving forward here in the future. You've got your USB 3.0 port. You've got your mic and headphone port. And then this feature, which I really like, which I haven't seen on a lot of Windows PCs or laptops rather, it is your battery indicator. So it lights up with, let's see, there's 5 dots that indicate how much battery life you have remaining. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah. So that's a really nice feature. You don't have to open it up to get an idea how long your battery lasts. This has been sitting on a desk now for a few days, and it's still showing a lot of battery life. So battery life is something else that I really like on this. So on the other side here, you've got your lock port. You've got your second USB 3.0 port, and then you've got an SD card slot. I really like the SD card slot as well, but little caveat: the SD card does not sit fully flush in the port, which is kind of a problem for me. I don't like how they stick out. Can get caught on something, can break. I don't use SD cards all that much, but if I was using it, that's something that I would want. So moving forward, we'll just continue to talk about the physical hardware. A lot of people have a problem with the webcam placement down here in the corner, as opposed to dead center in the middle by the Dell symbol, or up top. I think we can all see why it couldn't go anywhere else other than that bottom corner or bottom side of the screen, because there's not a lot of bezel here, which is my favorite part of this laptop. That contributes to the small form factor. That contributes to a lot of screen real estate, and really just makes it look nicer, higher end, without some large chunky bezels. So as far as build quality goes, when you open it up, carbon fiber palm rests, very nice, soft touch, soft feel. A little bit of a fingerprint magnet, as you can see on the trackpad. I've got a lot of fingerprint use and grease, and you can kind of see the detail pattern on the palm rest here, which is very nice. I will say the exterior, the aluminum shell, really like, but also can be kind of a fingerprint magnet. But you know, anything encased in metal is high quality, so not a huge problem. Backlit keyboard. I did not have this on my last laptop. It is almost essential now for me, having had it on this one. I don't think I could go without it. There's a few different brightness levels, which we're kind of in the day, well lit here, but there's 3 different brightness levels. The first being pretty bright. You won't need anything more than the first one. The second one, pretty dim, and then off. So really, I guess you only have 2 brightness settings. I haven't had that be a problem for me, and I was using it, on vacation at night, in bed, getting some work done. So I never had an issue with it, but I'm sure that, compared to the Macs that have multiple adjustments, or maybe some other Windows PCs that have multiple adjustments, I can see some people having a problem with it, but personally I do not. Not a big problem for me. Keyboard, love the way the keyboard feels. Not necessarily the most, key press depth, but it feels solid. It feels consistent across all keys, across all parts of the key, whether you hit it on one side or the other. It feels really, really high-end, and that's important for a lot of people, but on a high-end laptop, even if it's not the most important thing, keyboard feel, for some people, you expect it to be pretty high-end and pretty nice feeling. So that's good. A lot of respect for that. Another thing that I really, really like, and this is not going to be something you see across a lot of other machines, but the FN, the function keys, your mute, your volume up, which we can go over those. We've got your mute button here. You've got your volume down, volume up, seek, play, pause, seek. You got your keyboard brightness key, and then brightness, screen brightness up and down. You do not have to push function for any of these to work. Their primary function, their first function, is the function like volume down, volume up, screen brightness, keyboard brightness, which I really like. There is a function key, but I think you only really have to use that in certain scenarios. And I have not had to use it yet, so I like not having to do that extra step of hitting the mute button or volume up, volume down, or for other laptops, function page up, page down for brightness or volume. So that's big. That's big for me. I think a lot of other people will probably find that pretty useful, but personal preference, I guess. So moving on, the trackpad, really nice. Very functional. I don't ever realize myself having issues with it, so that's a good thing. It pretty much does what it's supposed to do. But there's no dedicated buttons for your left and right click on the mouse. They're built into the pad. This is going to be personal preference again. I like dedicated buttons, but I don't ever really notice it on this one because it's so functional. It's so seamless. So I guess if you're being nitpicky, I would prefer to have physical mouse click buttons instead of the integrated ones on the pad, but I don't really care. So with that being said, 2-finger scrolling, flawless, seamless, the best I've had on any PC laptop. I hate to make comparisons to Mac products and MacBooks and MacBook Pros and everything, but I would say that this is pretty similar to their 2-finger scrolling, which is a good, they've got that figured out. So I do like that. Scrolls up and down pages, no problems. You can long flick to kind of scroll more, or scroll to the bottom of a long page, or you can do slow line by line as you're reading. So very nicely done by Dell on that one. And I know that was an issue on the last gen, the model before this, with the 5th gen Intel processors. So it's nice that they've addressed that and fixed that and perfected that. But yeah, so nice trackpad. Screen brightness, very, very bright. This is brightness all the way up. It's it's snowing out, so there's a lot of white light coming through here, but pretty bright and high quality. So there's that. High resolution, 1080 resolution. I did not opt for the 4K. I did not opt for the touchscreen. I don't really find it that useful for what I do. And besides all that, besides the usefulness or it not being useful, it eats battery. So what I want from my laptop is long battery life, portability, nice build quality, which this has all of that, and I don't have to worry about scrolling on the screen because the touchpad's so nice. So really, it delivers everywhere it should, and I don't feel like I miss anything as far as resolution goes. The screen looks great. It almost looks better than 1080, especially when you're comparing it to a lot of other 1080 screens. It hits all the RGB, I think 97% RGB scale for color, which is good. And then I don't need touchscreen because the battery lasts forever, and the trackpad is good, and it's so small that really you can, no matter how you're sitting, if you're laying on your back in bed, you can still get the trackpad pretty easily. I never have a need for a touchscreen. Now, that being said, this is the matte finish screen, which I really like. It doesn't show, I don't touch the screen a lot, but it doesn't show as much dust or fingerprints. It doesn't have any glare if you're sitting directly under the light, which I like. I really like the matte finish screen. So I don't, I know the touch screen options, the 4K options are not going to be matte, but it's something that I would say goes in the pros column of not getting those is having the matte finish screen. So there's that. I opted for the 128 gig solid state drive. I would like more, and another reason that I went with this particular configuration or build of this device is that it has a full-size 2.5-inch laptop drive. So I can upgrade the solid state here for, now the price of solid states has dropped so much that I can slap a 500 gig. I can really shell out and buy a 1 terabyte and slap it in here for much less than what Dell was selling it for those upgrades. I think that with that, to go with the bigger hard drive, you had to go with the touchscreen, you had to go with 4K, things that I didn't want. So, while I know that on some of the models they give you a little bit bigger battery because they use the M.2 solid state format, and it frees up some space. I like, I get great battery life, so it's not an issue for me, and I like having the ability to upgrade this in the future if it goes out, or if I need more space, or whatever the case may be. I don't anticipate needing that, with all the cloud and OneDrive and Dropbox and all that stuff. Plus with external solid state drives being an option, pretty small form factor, I don't ever think that's going to be an issue for me. Cool little feature that we can talk about is the XPS flap underneath the laptop. You'll see that pops up and flips out like so. It's metal as well. It's got some kind of a rubber film hinge that goes on it, but that's going to show your service tag and your express service code on that as well. So it's kind of a neat feature. You don't have to worry about a sticker wearing away or having to boot up to get into that info. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. The vents here on the bottom. I have not heard the fans kick on, but I believe there is a fan in here. That just tells you how well the processor handles everything. Not that I do anything crazy on it, but these are your vents. So you can feel some heat come out of these if you're on it for a while, but it's never scalding hot, or aluminum dissipates heat pretty well. So it does its job. The venting does, without having to kick the fan on. So I think that covers everything, guys. This is without a doubt my favorite laptop I've ever had. It is without a doubt, as you can see, other reviews and ratings are giving this thing very, very high scores. So there is a 15-inch option, which I considered, but for me it's mostly portability. When I'm on the road or traveling, whether for work or vacation, portability was a big issue for me, so I did not go with 15-inch. It was also more expensive, so you know, there's that. But it does come, the 15-inch does come with a full-size HDMI out, which was a big, you know, I would like to have that in this one, and it was really the only issue or reason that I was considering going with the 15-inch to begin with. So that's one thing that you'll definitely you know, have to make a decision on, is 13-inch versus 15-inch, and whether you need full HDMI available to you or not. Other than that, build quality is the same. The 15-inch can be slightly bigger, slightly heavier. You do have dedicated graphic options with the 15-inch, which is nice depending on your use. That might be something that you want to go with. But all in all, my favorite laptop. I like it better than the Surfaces. I've used those. I like it better than the Asus. Similar models to these. My last one was an Asus ZenBook. The bezels on the screen were big. It was thin, it was light, but trackpad wasn't nearly as good. Keyboard wasn't as good. There was no backlighting. So this thing delivers pretty much everywhere that it needs to. It has all the built-in features that I need, except for I'd like an extra USB-C port, which I would venture to say will definitely be included in the next version. But I needed a laptop, so I went with this one now, and very happy, no regrets. Dell XPS 13, Gen 6 i5 Intel processor. It's a great choice. All in all, this thing came in at $950 for the 8 gig, 1080 screen, 128 gig solid state drive, i5. So not cheap, but like I said, build quality, features, does everything I need it to do. Dell XPS 13. Thanks, guys.